So I've been using the iPhone 17 Pro and also the Pro Max for well over a day at this point. And there are a lot of things that I have tested: the cameras, the batteries, the performance, the thermals, the screen, a lot of things. And I want to talk about some of my initial thoughts, some of the things that I like, some of the things that I already don't like, and everything in between. So let's just start with the design and build quality, because this year we are getting a pretty big change. You have a completely new camera bump, and I have to be honest, at first I didn't really like the design, but it is starting to grow on me. Like, I'm starting to like it, and I actually think it's pretty good. However, the colors just seem to be a mess this year. None of them seem to be good. I obviously have the silver and the deep blue over here, not the orange, because there was no way I was going to actually use the orange. But I have seen the orange, and yeah, I don't like it. But a lot of people are liking the silver. But for me, the deal breaker is the white glass. Like, it's just too white, too bright. I think if it was a little bit more darker, more silver, it would have been the perfect color to get this year. So I think I'm going to stick with the blue this year. I think it just looks a lot better, a lot closer to black, which is what I would have gotten, obviously, if Apple released a black color, which I am almost 100% sure that they will in the next few months, like around January or something. Like, there's no way they didn't release a black color. But also new this year is the material, aluminum, or I guess old, depending on how you look at it. It is a downgrade in a way and an upgrade in a way. For example, I understand why Apple switched to aluminum thermals. Makes sense, okay. But as far as durability goes, this is a lot softer than titanium, which is what was on the iPhone 16 Pro. So 100% this will get scratched and dented a lot easier than the titanium. In fact, I've already seen a lot of people getting their iPhone 17 Pros scratched and dented, and it's not looking good. Like, especially the orange and the blue colors, they seem to scratch really easily. And if you do get them scratched from the inside, you'll see a silver color, which is very noticeable. The scratch will be very prominent. It will be a little bit less noticeable on the silver because from the inside it's also silver. But either way, this year it's even more important to use a case. And I have some really good ones from Moft. These are the Movaz Snap cases, and they feel incredibly premium. They're made from vegan leather, which has a little bit of grip to it, like more than a plastic case would have, but not so grippy that they stick to your clothing like a silicone case would. So it's really easy to slide them in and out of your pocket. And especially this Misty Cove color goes very well with all the new 17 Pro colors. And despite being super close to white, it does a great job of resisting dirt and everyday stains. The camera button's fully covered, and overall they just feel really nice. Now, there's also this Snap Studio box, which basically pulls together some of the best gear from the Snap lineup into one package. It has a clean, minimal design, and everything just snaps together in a super modular way. So it works just as well for traveling as it does for everyday use. My favorite combination though has to be the Movaz case with the Snap Field Wallet or the tripod wallet. The tripod wallet is very useful for recording videos, watching videos, or even video calls. And the Snap Field wallet can fit up to 8 cards or 4 cards with cash and coins. I mean, all of that at the back of your phone, that's impressive. And of course, it still doubles as a stand for your phone. So I'm gonna leave links below to all of these products. Check them out. Getting back to the 17 Pros, when it comes to the front, there's not much that has changed, at least visually, because if you look at the screen, it looks very similar to the 16 Pro, but it is using a newer generation of ceramic shield, which is apparently more shadow resistant and also scratch resistant, which I think is the first time Apple has mentioned about scratch resistance specifically. Usually I think they just say it's shadow resistant, and it seems like this time it is actually more scratch resistant as well. There's also an anti-reflective coating, which is pretty mediocre, especially compared to Samsung Galaxy phones, but you will see a difference if you put like a 16 Pro side by side. It's just barely noticeable. In terms of performance, there's an A19 Pro chip inside these phones, and it's obviously a lot more powerful than the 16 Pro. It's better in a lot of ways, but again, like I say almost every single time with every iPhone now, you can't really tell the difference. Like, you could totally use an iPhone 13 Pro today and you won't feel like it's incredibly slow. You can definitely see the improvement on benchmarking apps, but as far as just everyday performance goes, like calling, texting, browsing, stuff like that, you're not gonna notice it. By the way, while benchmarking, I noticed that the 16 Pro seems to get warm more and quicker than the 17 Pro. It starts to heat up around the top corner, while the 17 Pro just felt cool to the touch. So seems like the vapor chamber is doing its job. But in terms of the user experience, I think the biggest thing you will notice is iOS 16 and all the liquid glass. And I have some mixed feelings about it. So I don't think it looks bad. It's okay, and it's a bit of change from older iOS versions, but at the same time, I feel like it's not gonna last for too long. Like, I am almost 100% sure that Apple will eventually go back to a more flat design. But I do think the animations feel nicer, more faster, more polished. Everything just feels more refined on iOS 26. It is a bigger improvement in that sense. Now, when it comes to the battery, this year you're actually getting a pretty big upgrade on both phones, especially on the eSIM only models. This is the eSIM only model, and this has nearly a 19% larger battery compared to the 16 Pro. And it seems promising so far. Right now, I'm at almost 7 hours of screen on time with 25% battery remaining, and I actually used the camera for about an hour today. Normally, I think if a phone can get 5 hours and it still has a little bit of battery left, that's pretty good battery life, but this seems really good so far. But of course, I'm gonna continue to test it, and I'll talk more about it in my full review video. When it comes to the cameras, obviously the biggest upgrade this year, I think, is on the front-facing camera. And it's actually really noticeably good because when I was setting up this phone, you know how it tells you to do the Face ID, set it up? I did that and I immediately noticed just how much better the camera looked like. Like it actually stood out to me. Normally, I don't notice anything while I'm setting up the phone. It's that good. It obviously has more detail, it looks sharper, and of course, because it has a square sensor, it's so much more useful. Like just being able to record vertical video without completely rotating your phone is a bigger deal than I feel like most people think. If you're someone who uses a selfie camera a lot, this feature alone might very well be the reason to upgrade to the 17 lineup. But what I care the most about are the cameras on the back, because this is the real reason why you would get this phone, because the selfie camera is also available on all the new iPhone 17s. So the photos and videos look really nice from the main camera because it's the same one you get on the 16 Pro, but they also look nice on the ultra wide and the telephoto, because now all the cameras are 48 megapixels, so it doesn't matter which camera you're using, you're gonna get the same quality, more or less the same quality. I say more or less because all of them don't have the same sensor. The main sensor is still the best one, so if you want the best quality, use the main camera. The other two are a little bit smaller, so naturally they will be just a little bit worse in low light. But I will say I still prefer the photos from the Pixel. The colors look a little bit different, a little bit better in my opinion, and the photos just have a different vibe. But what the Pixel can't do is really good video. And I'm talking about like professional quality video. So I've actually been thinking of getting a second camera for filming top-down angles while filming my A-roll. But obviously I have one camera right now, and cameras are very expensive. There's a $4,000 setup, so another one would be another $4,000. But I actually ran some tests with this phone, and I'm just blown away by how good it actually looks. Like log video on this phone. If you know how to use it properly, if you know what it is, you can do so much with it. I mean, with just a little bit of color adjustment, I can basically perfectly match this phone to this camera, which is just insane to me. So I think I have found a second camera. I will actually be using this in my videos a lot more, and you probably won't even be able to tell what part of the video was filmed on this and on that. Now, of course, this isn't something that's entirely new to the 17 Pros. Vlog video has been a thing on iPhones for a while, but it keeps getting better and better each year. Like this year with the 17 Pros, you now have Apple Log 2, which is just a little bit better, but now you also have real raw video, which is not something the 16 Pro had. So you can totally use these phones for a professional workflow, and more people are starting to do that, including me now. So overall, honestly, I am quite impressed with these phones. Like, these feel like genuine upgrades this time around. And if you were waiting to upgrade for a while, like if you didn't get the 16 Pro, you were patiently waiting, I think now is the time to upgrade. That's what I think so far. I will of course continue to use these phones, and I'll talk more about them in my full review video.